Hello YouTube. For this video I wanted to do something oh look, this is nice. See, we're turning into a nuclear wasteland. I'm once again focusing my videos on a Lincoln Town car and using some recently and maybe soon to be abandoned properties to have an open wide space for my open boat. Sorry for the wind. So now this mall across the street, it's still functional. It's not closed like the other one, but I think it is slowly but surely dying because it is Sunday, and should be at least some cars on there, but doesn't look like there are. There's a little restaurant that's open right there, so you can see some cars, and every once in a while a car would pass by because there are some houses behind, I think duplexes behind this scenery here, but I don't think we're going to have too much disturbance here. So what do I like about this car? What made a 34-year-old in 2020 buy a relic from 2006, even though it wasn't even considered modern by that standard? So I'll cover a few things. Not trying to convince anyone that I'm right and you're wrong, or trying to sell anyone on the idea is that you should sell your Mercedes or BMW and buy this. No, this is not the point. This is only my point of view, which I'm sure some people do share, because I see some activity on all the Facebook pages of enthusiasts of this car, of these cars, so I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. But so my first reason why I like about this car is the way it looks on the outside. It is simple, doesn't have a whole lot going on for it, doesn't have any sexy curves, doesn't have any creases, doesn't have anything that could be considered as a modern design by any stretch of the imagination. And like I said, even back in '06, there were cars that were displaying a lot better, more modern, I guess more aggressive designs. This is not one of them, and I like it. And the reason why I like it is because, so I was born in one of the republics of former USSR, and when other places of the world were looking at Ferraris and Porsches and Mercedes and all that, my first cars were, just Google them, Zhiguli, Moskvich, and Zaporozhets, were very, very rudimentary Soviet designs. Nothing impressive there. And the cars that were impressive to me were the Volgas, the Chaikas. Those were considered premium cars. They were only driven and could be afforded by the very elite few. And those are the cars that I loved and enjoyed looking at. And even when one passed on the street, I was very impressed. And this does kind of remind me, on some very subconscious level, of some of those cars, they were all sedans. USSR is not known for their SUVs or their minivans, so those cars do remind me of this. Simple, sturdy, basic. And the birds, once again, I'm always get lucky with the birds. Somewhere out there. Oh, and then the sky. Look at the sky. Once again, no car wash because it's going to rain pretty soon. So anyway, this car does remind me of those cars that I was very impressed with when some generals would drive on parades, or the general secretary of the USSR would go somewhere, and on the news you would see him driving some, I don't know, Gaz model 3214. I don't know, I'm making stuff up, but anyway, this thing reminds me of this. Basic, plain, simple, just like me. All right, next thing I like about this car is the trunk. Now, as you can see, I am filming in the trunk. Now, I'm 5'11". I can't really stretch in here, but I think in case of a nuclear attack, or if the virus is knocking on our door, I think myself and at least a couple of our family members, of my family members, can really comfortable fit in here. So now, looking and exploring the inside. This could be our kitchen. This could be a little entertainment room. You see, you got the couch already from the styrofoam. Yeah, look, I mean, if anything here, I'll turn off the light. And, this thing is glowing, so good. I think it could be just fine. Now, we could probably drill a couple holes here for oxygen. So anyway, the space is definitely enough. I mean, I can attest to that. For at least, if I was dead and I would lay flat, and there would be probably 3 bodies. I think 3 bodies in the trunk is definitely a good thing in here. Simply because these cars are for mafia and the gangsters from before. Like I think Paulie from Sopranos drove a Cadillac. So, I'm pretty sure he could try a Lincoln too, same idea. But yeah, and then worst case scenario, if I ever get captured and I don't have a remote, pull this. See, the light comes on here. The light comes on there. There's no light on this side. Look, and it comes out. Now, I could do this. I could press the remote, and it would open up. And, if it starts raining or if I don't feel safe out there, I can just do this. Wow, it does sound pretty impressive sitting or laying, or half sitting, half laying in here. So yeah, this is nice. I don't think I would ever find myself in a trunk of any car. But you know what? If I had to pick, I would pick the trunk of this car over any other car. So there you have it. Now what I really like about this car is the fact that I can use this as a little resting place and feel totally safe and actually somewhat comfortable. Not gonna lie. It's not the most comfortable place. It's not by choice. I wouldn't really lay down here, but it's, my head would actually fit perfectly if I got rid of the spare, but I didn't. So, all right, now the second thing I like. So the last thing on the outside, I have to pick the hood ornament. Now, why is there the logo here and then the hood ornament over that? I don't know. I think they could have got rid of this one and just kept this one, or write Lincoln here and put the hood ornament there. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I guess 2 is better than 1. I love the hood ornament. Now, this is called the Continental Star, sometimes referred to as the Lincoln Star. I had to look it up. I honestly thought it was a cross, first and foremost, but then looking it up, it ended up being a Continental Star. So seeing, it looks cool on the outside, at least for me, but seeing it from the inside kind of gives, I don't know, I can't really describe it, but it gives some sort of a sense of maybe fake luxury, or maybe some sort of a comfort, or I'm not sure what it does, but this is my officially first car with a hood ornament. And I've always been a fan, whether it was in a Lincoln or in a Cadillac or in a Buick or any of the other cars, or even, the Mercedes for that matter, when they did the Star, their version of the Star on the hood. But yeah, I don't know, just sitting back here, relaxing, cruising, having it up there is better than not. So since I'm already inside, I can kind of transition into what I like about this car on the inside. Number one, although it is old, it's 14 years old, it has some of the modern features that are found on today's car. It does have the heated seats, and it does work. It does have the memory feature, which, once again, it does work, but because nobody wants to drive this car but me, I guess I don't really put it to good use. If I ever valet it, I could just press the number 1 button, and it goes back to where it was before, which also controls the mirrors and the pedals in case if they're ever adjusted. I do like all the creature comforts of it, the adjustable pedals for that matter. It's nice. I got them exactly where I want them. If it didn't have it, wouldn't have been a big deal, but it has it, so why not? I love the wood steering wheel. I talked about it earlier. Something about having wood on the steering wheel. The steering wheel itself is nothing special in my mind, but having this little strip of wood just makes it, I don't know, I love holding on to it. Yes, call me weird, but I love this wood. Another thing, the clock. Now, I think a lot of modern cars are ditching this. I know Lexus still puts them in, and I'm not sure about Cadillac anymore. But yeah, I love it. I don't know. It's simple. It's not expensive or anything. It's not a precious, Cartier watch, but it's a regular clock that's just sits there, minding its own business. I love looking at it. I like the fact that it's not digital. So good. All right, so that's some of the things. So another thing I love, and I'm gonna exit so I can kind of show you. I love these seats. Now, these seats, like I said, I think I'm the fourth owner, so they are obviously starting to show some wear, where the cheeks hit the leather and kind of made some indentations, but regardless, they are super soft. They are power adjustable. Everything still works. They go 8 different directions, I believe. Now, a lot of people may not realize that, but it also has a power lumbar support, so it does inflate something, and it's actually on both sides. You can see this on the passenger side as well. Fully powered, heated also, and with the lumbar, so it does inflate. I'm not sure if it. Oh yeah, it works with the ignition off too, so I don't know if you can kind of see the back of it does inflate. So there's like an air pillow in here that inflates. These are probably one of the most comfortable driver seats that I've experienced. Now, I had a 2010 Buick LaCrosse. Those would come close to this. They were a bit more sporty, I think, than this. Maybe not as soft, but I tell you, whatever they did with these seats, even with the leather, not being the most expensive leather in the world, these seats are super comfortable, even after a 2-hour commute, but back feels fine. You can readjust them. You can use the lumbar. The lumbar actually inflates really, a lot here. Really makes the back of it as soft as you want or as hard as you want. Yeah, so the driver's seats are amazing. I mean, so does the passenger, but once again, I'm the only one who drives this thing. Now, some of the negatives of this, because I think the leather quality could have been better. So whatever they end up using, it wears down, with people sliding in and out. This piece right here has a lot of usage, and what you see right here is my way of fixing it, which is not exactly the way it should be, but I don't want there to be a rip, so I'm using some other methods, which I can talk about later, to kind of keep the seat together. But anyway, super nice driver's seat, very, very comfortable. Long commutes are no problem. And if I didn't convince you yet that the front seats are comfortable for the driver and the passenger, the back seats, seriously, you have no idea. If you have never sat in the back seats, oh god, of a Lincoln Town Car, doesn't matter if it's in a limo, in a cab, holy crap, these seats, I'm telling you, as comfortable as the driver's seat is, and the passenger seat, with its lumbar, with its heat, with its adjustment, and how you position yourself, to behind the wheel and everything. The rear seats on a Lincoln Town Car are amazing. They are soft. They are squishy. Every position here, whether it's the middle or the passenger, they are just super duper pooper comfortable. Have no idea. This is just amazing. If I could sit here, on a nice day with the windows down, you could seriously fall asleep. If I ever start smoking, I could use this. I could let the windows down. I could have some AC back here, although, I wish that the rear seats were heated too. I know that there was an Executive L series, so the 6-inch longer version, that you could get basically another one of those buttons from the drivers and the passengers panel. Basically, you would just have an extra cutout here with a switch. But this one does not have it. I don't think it was even offered as an option on the standard wheelbase. But I tell you, you sit here, you have your coat hook, you have your light. Still waiting on somebody to tell me what in the world is this, but the headroom is nice. You can just kind of sink in and you just enjoy life. So this I really, really, really enjoy. And when I find somebody to drive me, I will make sure to always sit in the back, because I'm telling you, haven't lived if you have not sat on the back seat of a Lincoln Town Car. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is the ride. You know, I mentioned about the seats. Well, the seats are only as good as the ride itself. So for this last portion, or this last piece for this video, I want to take you on a ride. You know, now I'm going to try to film one-handed. I know it's not the safest thing, but as you can see around this plaza, there's not a whole lot of traffic, so I'm going to try not to run into anything while filming. So, you know, very nicely isolated. I'm going to close the sunroof and just put it in the drive and just glide. Now, I'm going to be focusing on the road, so I do apologize if at some point, you know, I'm filming like a floor or something like that, because, you know, I'm trying to be safe here. Just how quiet it is, how effortless the steering wheel is. Now, the steering wheel is not like, you know, the steering wheel from some of the cars from the 70s where you can do the pinky. So this one, you would need a little bit more effort to steer. But in general, you can definitely do it one hand. That's not a problem. You'll have super silky smooth acceleration. You have the tachometer, so this is an 06. 06 through 2011, they started putting in tachometers. So before that, it was just a one giant speedometer without a tachometer. Now, technically, you don't need it for an automatic transmission, but the fact that I do have it, I can see that the RPMs, even on the highway, they never really climb over 3,000 RPMs. I mean, if I floor it, it'll probably go 4,000 before it shifts. But oh my God, just how quiet and smooth and unobtrusive and just relaxing. Got my beloved hood ornament out there. You got a bird who's trying to, you know, kill herself. You know, the mall, there's another restaurant over there that seemed to have carry out, so that's good. At least somebody's making some money. But yeah, you know, the brakes are nice and soft, not sporty by any kind. But yeah, I mean, it's just, this is the part where you can commute for an hour. There's another bird. Look at this. No respect for the Lincoln Town Car here. And I can commute for an hour or more one way. I can just sit there in traffic. I can glide on the highway. And by the way, it's the highway driving that's really intoxicating, because, you know, here, you know, doing 20 miles an hour on this abandoned parking lot is one thing. But going, you know, 60, 70, 80, most I ever took it out so far, I think it was about 85. Man, this thing just glides through the air. Nothing gets in the cabin. Very smooth, very soft. The seat is nice and supportive, yet cushy. It's very quiet. The wind noise is pretty minimal here, especially when you got the radio on, or the heat or the AC. And you just, it eats up miles. Odometer keeps clicking. And, you know, I by the way, I like the speedometer too. I mean, it's, you know, a lot of cars, they have a speedometer that goes up to 160, 180, you know, 200. You know, and the thing is, you know, especially like for a Corolla or something, you know, oh yeah, 160 mile speedometer. Well, you know, good luck getting it there. And even if you could, where are you going to do it? You know, this car does not pretend to be sporty, so you can see there's no red line even on the tachometer. There is, it goes up to 120. Now, I took it out to about 185 for a stretch of the highway. I'm sure it could go probably, you know, 95 to 100, no problem. But You know, just turning the wheel. And yeah, this is motoring in a Lincoln Town Car, just the way I like it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Now, you know, too bad you can't buy these cars anymore. You know, they were discontinued in 2011. I could obviously never afford one brand new by 2011, or, you know, even, you know, like 10 years ago. Yeah, like 2010. Yeah, they were pricey. And I think all the limo companies bought them up as soon as they found out that they weren't going to make them anymore. So the prices have finally come down to the point where, you know, these things are pretty cheap. Like this particular one ended up being $7,000 for a trade-in that ended up being, you know, $6,000. So it was only, with all the taxes and everything, it was like $1,500. And obviously I put some more money into it, you know, making sure it's maintained. But in general, now they're pretty cheap. They're still can be reliable. I hope that this one is, or will be. And yeah, I'm gonna wrap up this video, and now you know why I like this car. You know, I don't care about the sportiness, don't care about 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, really don't care about, you know, sporty suspension or how well it can take a corner, because none of the stuff you really use on a daily basis. So, but what you do use on a daily basis is smooth ride, quietness. You don't care about 0 to 60 when, you know, you go from a stoplight to a stoplight. You don't also care about, you know, all the, you know, I guess you do care about the blind spots and all the assist and all the rear cameras and everything, but I'm fine without it. I don't miss anything out of this car. This car did actually also come with navigation as an option. This one doesn't have it, but I imagine that, you know, this navigation would be pretty bad in 2020. So not missing that either. So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate all the love and support I got so far, and I hope you keep liking this content. I sure enjoy making it. Thank you.